Welcome to our class today on basic chicken butchery. This is a great way to be saving some money right at your home by doing your own chicken. Yes, you could be buying these all pre-cut, but you're missing out on so much. You're missing out on one, the price is definitely a lot cheaper to butcher them down on your own. You're also missing the possibility of having the bones to make stock, which we're gonna be doing today on the back end. Honestly, you're going to get a whole lot more flavor. You're going to get a whole lot more out of it by doing it this way. So with that said, let's get our master class on butchering chicken started. So we're going to start right here. This first chicken, we're going to do just the very basics of a chicken, how to get it in its 8 pieces and what you need to know. So first things first, you're going to have a couple different parts to the chicken that we need to address first. So first things first, if you look here inside of the cavity, you're going to have neck bones, which I'm going to throw these over here. This is my stock pot. This is my butcher cuts. So anything I want for flavor-wise is going to go in here. All unusable product I'm going to have over here. I don't like to keep any of this excess fat as far as this goes. I might render this down and hold it separate, but I don't really put that in my stock because I don't want my stock super cloudy. So I'm not going to put that in there. And there comes the gizzards, there's kidneys. Now the kidneys, I'm going to withhold because those break up. Again, that's going to make our stock super cloudy, so we're not going to be using that. All right, next thing I'm going to get rid of is this little guy right there. Some people call that the Pope's nose. Into the stock pot it goes. I can clean a little bit of the skin off right there. All right, so first things first, I like to take the legs off. All right, so I like to push on them a little bit. I'm gonna make my cut here on either side. And then I break the bones right there, which means all I gotta do is just run my knife right there at that joint, and they come right off. Flip it around. Again, break that joint. Firm believer in letting the natural build of the animal be the butchering point. It's going to make your life a whole lot easier. When trying to solve through stuff, you're just going to lower the quality of the product. Use the body's natural breaking points as your areas to butcher, and you're going to come off a lot better. So same thing for here. Kind of stretch it just a little bit. See where that bone is, right there. We got our thigh. Go. Got our leg quarter. Go. Go. Again, let the chicken natural body do the work for you. Thigh. All right, now up to the wings. Again, we're going to kind of twist, do a twisting motion here. Get starting to break right there. I don't want to dig around because I don't want to steal any of that breast meat that's right there. Just get that. This little tip right here of the wing is going to burn. So I typically take those off into the stock pot. Then if you want to break them down into further wing sections, now you got your drumette and wing. Same thing on this side. Come to the back side, a little insertion there. So you have a popping motion. Again, this section right there, no bueno, it's just gonna burn. So go ahead and cut it off. There you go, drum. All right, now we are to this nice, big, beautiful breast. Now, a lot of people think that the yard chickens that are, laying eggs is this chicken. This is a completely different chicken. This chicken actually does not really lay eggs. It's kind of like a liger. It doesn't really lay eggs. It doesn't really reproduce. This is like a cross between a bunch of different birds. Chickens don't naturally have large breasts. This is kind of like a genetically created bird that's become very popular. A lot of times if you're like searching for them online, they'll be called Cornish cross. We actually grow these on our farm, and it's always a huge hit on our farm. So finding that breastplate that's right there. It kind of sticks out. It's kind of like a ridge that goes all the way down. And once I find that, going all the way down to the bottom, and then I'm just going to scrape right at the bone. So we don't want to lose any meat. And then there's this little guy right here. That is our tenderloin. So that goes in here. We have perfect chicken breast right there. We'll leave that right there for now. So we could do some more with that if we wanted to. Again, just kind of peel back. Again, if you flip over and you see that you got a little bit of that bone left over from that wing, just cut it right out. Throw it in your stock pot. There we go. You can make any adjustments, like if you want to trim off some extra skin. And then if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty, there are like the oyster meats and all this stuff that's back here that I think is ultra delicious. But for our intents and purposes on this round, that right there is a pretty darn good carcass. We'll deal with that. Goes right into our stock pot. Now from here, there's a couple things you can do. Obviously this is much too large for one portion. That's probably a portion for two. So depending on the preparation, I might come along and give it just a little bit of a split. Notice my thumb placement is like all the way up whenever I go to cut across. So as I cut across, I'm not getting anywhere near my thumbs. Or you could come in, again, you can leave it like this. Again, and this is what our chicken will look like when we have it broken down, kind of put back together. So we got our legs, thighs, wings, tenderloins, and breasts. And this goes to make delicious stock. Now, let's take a look at a different cut that is very, very popular. We got two more cuts. This kind of going into the intermediate, and then I'll leave a video of a more advanced cut that we did on a turkey called a roulade. But we're going to do a French cut on this one. So a little bit different style. So again, first things first, let's get out all the bits. Next, kidneys. There we go. Again, I got to cut off a little bit of that fat. Pope's nose. All right, again, we're going to start at the same spot on our thighs, slit on each side. Go until you hear that pop. Thing. And again, once you do this a couple times, man, becomes very secondary. You can quite literally do this blindfolded. I've done it blindfolded on this channel before. I know Gordon Ramsay did one blindfolded. I think it's a pretty fun little hat trick if you know what you're doing. All right, so now we've got our We got our upper body here. So for a French breast, or sometimes it's called an airline breast, what it is it's the breast section that comes down, and then it's up to our, what we would consider our elbow, and then we're going to clean it back. So that's going to be right here. So we're going to take that, break that off of each section. There we go. Again, going in here. All right, now we have just kind of this upper muscle here up to the breast. And so what we're going to do is, again, find that chest plate bone. We can kind of feel it right there. We're just going to split all the way down that line. Again, start working our knife down that line. Just little flicks of the knife. Again, find where that is, and then just work our knife down. Go. And there's one. We can clean it up just a little bit. Move that skin. Now we're not done with that, but let's go ahead and grab our other one. Again, I'm securing that wing drum up here with my hand, so I make sure it's not getting cut off by accident. And this goes in our stock pot. All right. There we go. Now we have this. Now, if you're like these, and these are huge, which means we could take off these tenderloins. Way too big. There we go. All right. Now, you come down. Let's clean these off. I kind of start at close to the shoulder. Kind of peel everything back. Again, scrape that bone down. Give it a little pop. And there you go. French breast right there. Stock pot that goes. Again, if you see got a little extra chunk of meat right there, you can clean it up if you really want to be super particular. Go. Go. Getting down by the shoulder blade. Cut around it. And kind of pull it back. And start scraping. Super easy. It's kind of a cool, easy way just to kind of upgrade the appearance of your food. Here, taking across the top on an angle, give a little smash. And I think a good question is, why do we do that? The first thing you need to know is all of this right here is, let me find some, there's like blood vessels and stuff in there. So what happens is if we cook that with that on here, that blood vessel kind of goes down here and it's going to pop, and it's going to make this area down here look raw. And in restaurants, it always, that's one of those things that comes back constantly, is people thinking that chicken is raw when it's not. And it has to do with that bone marrow and blood. But by cutting that off, I kind of cheat the system and making sure that it doesn't go back down, that it's going to completely cook through and coagulate any blood or anything that is right there. It's also, as it cooks, it quite often is going to kind of curl back over, and that's what kind of gives it that name, airline breast. The last one is called a roulade. We did this on a turkey just a couple weeks ago, so it's going to be the same process. So we're going to take a look at that video right now. All we're doing is making our first cut along the very back line of the chicken, and then we just begin to easily work that skin off until we completely remove that skin boneless. And then we're going to put our pieces back in, or we can make a mousse and a force meat and put that back into that and roll it back up, tie it off, and be able to use that. It's a great little cool technique. It's a super foodie, but that one is more on the advanced. So again, you got your easy, your medium, and then you've got your advanced versions of chicken butchery. And again, this is kind of the tip of the iceberg, but I think those are really the three skill sets that you need to know to make 90% of everything that's out there. Yes, you could remove some wishbones and some things like that, but not everybody removes the wishbones. I find it more hassle than it's worth to get that ½ ounce of meat that's down there in that section. So I'd rather just have it in my stock. It's going to make my stock more flavorful. So that right there is how we butcher chicken. Super simple, very fun, 3 different ways to do it. My name is Jonathan. This is a part of an entire series on basics of culinary. And again, it's been an absolute pleasure. This is an absolute free course. Remember, there is also multiple classes. Make sure that you hit the links down below. You're going to be able to find all of the utensils, the knives, the cutting boards, all the materials that you're going to need to do this class. And that's also, by going through those links, it costs you absolutely zero. And it's a great way that you can help support our channel. We get a mild little cut off of those items. You can also always hit the donation tab down below. It's a great way to help us out. We are super thankful that you are here. If you've enjoyed this class, make sure that you hit subscribe so you are right there, and hit the notification bell so you get an update every time one of these classes comes out. My name is Jonathan. This is Deep South Foodies, and I'm glad you are here.